Hello and welcome to Tim Connolly Drums. I am in Fountain Valley, just outside of Anaheim in California. And I just left Vegas 2 days ago. And I thought, what a better time than now to tell you some casino gig stories. I've played in many, many casino gigs, and I thought, wow, in Vegas, going to California, this is the time to talk about casino gigs. So let's go back to the beginning of the casino gigs, and I'll tell you how the band that I was in at the time got them. I got casino gigs with a few different bands, but mainly just the one band that I actually ran, which was called Clean Slate. So to get a casino gig, first of all, you have to do a showcase for the casino agent. They generally speaking don't hire you without seeing you. And in my case, I made arrangements to actually go to a casino showcase night. So we went to that, and basically you get seen by a number of different agents that are involved in only booking casinos. They don't really book a lot else. They just book mainly casinos. So we went to the showcase. We did really well. They really liked us, and we got put into the casino rotation. Now, the way it works is you can work at certain casinos, or you can get put into the full rotation of many, many different casinos in Ontario. This is in the Ontario scene. The US casino scene and outside of Ontario casino scene are different scenes, different agents and whatnot. So anyways, we get hired into Casino Niagara to start with, which is the best casino to play at. Now, we were very excited because we thought we're moving up the scale of musicians. We're not just playing bars, we're not just playing parties, even corporate gigs and weddings. We thought in the beginning the corporate scene and the weddings was great. We really enjoyed it, but we really wanted to be in the casino scene because that's where we thought we we're going to make more money, get seen, etc., etc. So we get in the casino scene. We start off at Casino Niagara, and I can remember the band, we were all very excited. But we were told about all the rules. The agent contacted me and said there's a lot of rules. I was unaware of how strict the casinos are. Some of the rules are, first of all, when the band arrives, they're taken down in through a specific area to load in, which I really liked because you weren't in amongst the traffic. You were actually brought inside an underground part of the casino. They had a special load-in area. You got in an elevator. You put all your stuff in. It was really professionally well done. You parked your vehicle down there, and it was really safe and excellent. So that part of it we really liked. Now, you had to be there specifically at a certain time, and you had a very small window of opportunity. You cannot be late. You have to show up in this window of opportunity for the band to show up that they give you. So we did that our first time. So we showed up. Some of the other rules that we did not realize, and of course, till the agent told us, and then when we got there, was you cannot wander around the casino in any way, shape, or form. There's always someone sort of assigned to you, like a security person that's assigned to you. If you got to go to the bathroom, they take you. So it's kind of like somebody's holding your hand the whole time. The other thing is you don't bring any drums. It's all backline. You don't bring any amps, backline. You can bring, of course, your individual instruments for the bassist, guitar player, singer, etc. But for the drummer, I just brought some cymbals, stool, sticks, and of course the computer because we were using some backing tracks. So you weren't allowed to gamble while you're working. Once the show was over and you're cleared, then you could go and use the casino if you wanted to for your gambling purposes, whatever. I personally never did. I treated it like any other gig. As soon as I was done, I just packed my stuff up and left. And the other guys in the band, generally speaking, did not stick around either. Now, as far as accommodations go, we had to rent our own accommodations. The casino did not pay for a hotel nearby. So, with us being musicians and not earning a ton of money, we rented one hotel room and the four of us split it to make the cost much, much lower. And we would, generally speaking, get booked for four-nighters, 3 to 5, but generally four was the most common. Okay, so we go to play these gigs, and the one room that we were in was actually a nice room. The stage was nice. The backline drums were not very good. It was really hard to tune them. I was in an enclosed glass configuration, plastic, not glass, but it looks like glass, to control the sound of the drums. The sound man was good, and I was told by friends and my wife that came to the show that the sound was actually really well done, because it's hard to tell when you're, in a cage basically as the drummer. So everything was good. The only thing was, honestly, very few people in a casino really pay attention. Now, at Casino Niagara, you're in an actual room where people sit down. Barely anybody danced, despite the fact that we were a dance band and we were used to people getting up and dancing. A few people danced, but it's not a venue for that. It's mainly just people sitting and watching. And then, of course, in the background, the bells and whistles are going off, ding, 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 like crazy, of the casino sounds. Now, Casino Niagara, I have to admit, out of all the casinos that I've played, despite all the rules and regulations and the strictness and everything, it was the best room to play out of all the casinos in Ontario. Now, we also played some other casinos, not in Niagara Falls, but around different parts of Southern Ontario. Those gigs were the ones that are very disheartening, almost soul robbing or soul draining, because nobody paid attention to us. I can remember doing a Halloween gig. We dressed up in costumes. We did a casino Halloween night, and it was just ding, 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 like constantly hearing the sound of the casino. The music was very low in volume. They kept telling us to turn down, and it was disheartening. I have to admit, a lot of the casino gigs, because the audience just doesn't pay attention. They're more concerned about their gambling, and you're just there. And it just wasn't really a lot of fun. The Niagara casino, the gigs were a little better because people sit and watch you. They don't dance, but at least they sit and watch you. You've somewhat got their attention. There's a bar area. People would sit at the bar and watch us. But in the other casinos that we played, it was quite disheartening. It was just focusing on playing their games. We were in the background. It just didn't matter. We played our hearts out, but nobody really cared. So the casino scene, while it seemed to us in the beginning, we've really accomplished something and we're moving up the ladder of musician in Ontario and whatnot, it's just not that great. And then across the border in Atlantic City, as much as, playing in Atlantic City, you think it's a prestigious gig and everything, but it just was the same thing. You're on stage, it's a nice stage, nice lights, nice sound, all that stuff, but nobody really cared about you. I can remember playing one casino in Flamborough, Ontario, and there was no stage. We basically were on a wooden floor. Everything was carpeted except for this one area where the band played, and it was a wooden floor, and we were on the same plane as the audience, which is almost unheard of. The only time I've ever done that is at a party where they didn't have a stage, proper stage, or a wedding, again, where they didn't have a proper stage. But you'd think a casino would have a proper stage, and most do. But I can remember playing this one casino in Flamborough where they did not have a stage for us. It was just a floor area. So, you know, I I have really mixed feelings about the whole casino thing. I'll tell you what, another quick story. What happened was, I mentioned earlier that it's very strict about time. And what happened to us on one gig, like I said, you get hired for 4. We did many of these 4-nighters. But on one of the nights, it was a snowy, windy, cold Canadian winter night. The bass player was not only stuck in traffic, but he was stuck in weather. So I contacted the agent, I contacted the venue, and I said, you know, 3 of us are going to show up on time, but the bass player is definitely going to be late. He's driving 3 hours. He's stuck in traffic, blah, blah, blah. Well, this sound guy said to us, yeah, when we got there, no problem. We'll start a little bit later. Everything's fine. But we ended up getting fired off the gig because of being late one time. They're very strict. And despite arguing, and the agent actually argued on our behalf as well, and the venue really liked us, but they said, no, we can't have this showing up late stuff. And it was out of our control. It's weather, it's traffic, whatnot. Well, you should have left earlier. So that really that made us have a sour view on the whole casino thing. And we sort of stopped playing at casinos. And the band was really disheartened. We'd done a lot of casino gigs, and we were regulars in the casino scene. But after you do 50, 60, 100 of them, it's like, oh man, and nobody paying attention to you. It's like, enough is enough. So after we got fired out of Casino Niagara, but we're still able to play in other venues, we decided we're not going to do that anymore. The icing on the cake, though, was playing a gig in one of the other casinos. I can't remember exactly which casino, but they forced me to play an electronic drum kit, which I'm not familiar with. And they didn't provide an electronic drum kit. They wanted me to provide it. Well, that's more money out of my pay because I had to rent the electronic drum kit. Now, the agent that booked us, he ended up paying for the rental of the electronic drum kit because I absolutely refused to pay. So he ended up paying for it. So I have to thank that particular agent for paying for that. But it was a terrible gig because not being familiar with playing on electronic drums, the sticks bounced too much. And I'd never actually played a gig. I'd fooled around a little bit on some electronic drums. I didn't own an electronic drum at the kit, so it was a completely different feel, and it didn't feel like a pad. I'm used to playing on pads, but the electronic drums felt totally different. Sticks were flying out of my hands. My bandmates kept turning around looking at me all weird because the groove kept disappearing. It was a rough night. That was the icing on the cake where we decided enough's enough. We're done with the casino scene. So anyways, thanks for joining me this evening in California. And I want to thank my new subscribers, and I want to thank all the commenters. Keep the comments coming. And I hope you check out my video that I just put out before filming this, which is the professional drum shop in Hollywood, California. I only filmed a little bit of time in there, but Buddy Rich's Slingerland drum kit was on display there, and that was the highlight of my day today, was seeing that drum kit in that drum store, which is a legendary drum store. So anyways, thanks a lot for joining me, and as always, keep drumming. See ya.